Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Hello everyone, this is Megan editing this video. I would just like to personally apologize before you watch this video that I did not understand where the camera was, and I did not look at it most of this video, so I apologize in advance for that. But keep watching because there is really good information in this video. Now this microphone's not plugged in, but I've had a lot of people tell me, including my father, that the internet is forever. I know the internet is forever, okay? I'm making these videos because they matter and we all need to stay informed. So this is my newest prop because I'm gonna keep talking and making videos until something changes. Not every video I make is gonna be depressing and sad and fight the man, but I really think right now it's important to get this message out before the news cycle changes. So as always, I have my handy dandy notes notebook to keep me on track and not make this video 25 minutes long. And as always, I will post a too long didn't read section in the description of this video, so feel free to skip around, watch me on 1.25 speed, 1.5 speed, 1.75 speed, or 2 times speed, because I do it myself, so watch me and let's get into it. Now the title of this video is called The Confederate Flag and Other Stories. That's a working title, who knows. By the time this video is up, it'll probably have a different title, I don't know. The reason I thought of that title was because there's been a lot of rhetoric being spoken out on the internet and a lot of lies going around and just all kinds of stuff. Lies we tell ourselves, lies we tell each other, wrong opinions, right opinions, differing opinions. So I'm here to just talk about some of those. So first and foremost, I would like to talk about the Confederate flag. The moniker is usually, oh, heritage, not hate. No, it's not. It's not. Okay, okay. The Confederate flag represents a heritage of hate. So there is no heritage, not hate. What does it represent? What? Say it with me, slavery, okay? The Confederate flag was what the Confederate states stood behind and were like, these are our rights. Now, I don't know if everyone is just forgetting or we don't want to remember, but I'm just gonna jog your memory with a little tiny thing called the Civil War. What? The Civil War, yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Civil War. What were they fighting for? The states were fighting, the southern states, the Confederate states were fighting for states' rights. The right to what, you may ask? The right to own slaves, okay? So Confederate flag represents, states fighting for the right to own states. That sounds like a heritage of hate to me. A heritage of hate, not heritage, not hate. Okay, heritage, not hate. The heritage is hate. It's racism. It's slavery, okay? It's owning other humans. That's the heritage behind that flag. So I don't ever want to hear heritage, not hate again. Like, that's my new motto, okay? Okay? If you don't like it, unfollow me. Because I'm not standing for heritage, not hate, because it's a heritage of hate. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get that straight a doodle. Moving on. In case you missed it, George Floyd's funeral was being broadcast on television today, so I hope everyone watched that. I myself didn't watch the whole thing because I was out running errands with my mother, but I did see a little bit of it, and it was a really beautiful funeral, and there was so many, good things being said. There were a bunch of speakers. There were so many people just coming together and, celebrating the life of a man who shouldn't have lost his life because of police brutality. So yeah, I just want to give a moment of silence to George Floyd and everyone else who's been killed, who's been a victim of police brutality and brutally murdered by law enforcement in 2020. So I'm just going to take a moment of silence for all of them. Okay. And now I'm going to talk about social media. Everyone's favorite thing, social media. So the news cycle is changing. Social media poster, back to your regularly scheduled programs, folks. Please keep posting. Please keep spreading awareness. Please keep talking to your racist aunt, uncles, friends, teachers, accountants, grocery store workers. Anyone you see being racist or hateful, talk to them if you're not racist. It doesn't mean you have to get in an argument or not, but like keep spreading awareness that people of color matter, Black lives matter, and we shouldn't be killed just for, something I can't change. Wild. But yeah, so like it's fine to post your regularly scheduled programming on Instagram, but like intermingle into that, I don't know, some racial awareness, because that should be a part of your regularly scheduled programming. I don't know what else to say about it other than keep talking and keep preaching that Black lives matter until they do, because they already should. Don't know what to say about that. But moving on, we're gonna go and pivot to a great thing that happened in the world. The mayor of DC organized, she changed the street name to Black Lives Matter Way or Place, I think. And I'm sure most of you have seen it, the Black Lives Matter painted in the street in Washington, D.C. But what I'm sure you didn't know, or you may have heard it, everyone's doing their research nowadays, ladies and gentlemen. So what the mayor of D.C. did was great, but the citizens of D.C. did a little digging just to make sure that the mayor is looking out for their best interests. And turns out, ladies and gentlemen, she's not. The citizens of D.C. did their research and found out that the mayor has just not been doing good. I found a tweet about it, and I'll post that screenshot up here. But she just put like $500 million or something. I don't want the word right. Again, the picture will be up here. I don't want to get the words wrong. But she's planning on pushing funding towards a jail, increased like police funding, defunded education, like all regardless of what the DC mayor is doing, the lesson I want everyone to learn is to do your political research. Research your local politicians, research the national politicians, but know who's in office, because like politicians, obviously right now it's cool to care, as I said in my first video, right? So they're saying anything that they can to just agree with everyone and appease everyone. But don't forget, elections are coming up, everyone. The deadline, if you're an absentee voter, so like if you're a college student and you're not registered to vote where you go to school, and you get absentee ballots for your home state, they should have come in the mail. I got mine. I'm gonna mail it in tomorrow. But if you didn't get one in the mail, it's easy to do online. I have the links for you. You know I love my links, and I will always, anything I've mentioned in a video, I'll either post the link down into the description or put a picture up. So the links for the North Carolina worksheet, all you have to do is click on my link and press print. And then if you live in another state, I've posted a link where all of the states are listed with links, so you can just click on the state that you live in, open your PDF, and print it. So you know I love my links, so they're down in the description box. But everyone should be registered to vote and vote, because your chance is coming up. I know North Carolina's primaries are June 23rd, so I will be voting in that, and I will be voting in the November election, okay, ladies and gentlemen, because you know what we need to do. I'm not going to say it again, but we know what needs to be done. And I just want to say one more thing about researching politicians and voting. Research the politicians, look at their agenda, but also research your ballots, okay? When I get my absentee ballot, and like you can do it before the ballot comes out. Like obviously you can't research your ballot when you're in there voting, but what's on the ballot is available months, weeks beforehand, before November comes. So you don't even have to do it months before, but like in October, in October, look up the ballot that you'll be voting with. Like, Look up what's being passed, like your local ordinances, because local elections are important, ladies and gentlemen. But like, look up the bills that are being passed. Look at what you're voting for. Research them, because a lot of the names are purposely confused. Just remember that when you're voting, like, ballots are purposely named confusingly so that politicians can pass bills and rearrange funding without average voters knowing. Or you'll see something, accidentally vote for it, and something gets passed. Because, like, I don't know why the legal system in this country is so confusing, the political system is so confusing, but arm yourself with knowledge. We know it's confusing, so don't let it be confusing. Research, 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 so you can be an informed voter when you're walking in that ballot box. I just wanted to point out that some of you may not even know what a ballot looks like because you've never voted before. So I'm going to insert that right here to cover this ugly lamp. Also, I just want to stress how important it is to do your research on the ballots and read them, because things are confusing. I've even included a link in the description box of the 2018 voter guide for the North Carolina ballot, but these resources are out there. Every state is required, I'm pretty sure, to make a voter guide available that explains the entire ballot. It gives you bios on every person running. It gives you, in layman's terms, what each, like, legislation kind of thing that you're voting on, and then it gives the exact text of the bill in like fancy law speak. And these guides are really, really good. However, they're really, really long. It's a 31-page PDF, and you can get the gist of it by skimming through it, but it's like, doing your research is kind of hard work. It takes some time, but it's worth it if we care about the future of our country. So, and that's that on that, okay? Research, research, research. And yeah, that's what you need to do. This is a news segment I like to call News You May Have Missed While Watching Mainstream Media. Haha. As we're all well aware, most of the news that we see on the local news or even the national news, like the television, it's like a 10-minute news cycle. And like, you'll see if the news is on in your living room for like an hour, you've probably seen the same news stories like 3 or 4 times. And that's because like they do it on like a loop. I think sometimes it's like an hour loop. Sometimes it's like a 30-minute loop. I don't know. Local news is a little different because it comes on like twice a day, like in the morning and the evening, so that's less of a news loop. But like news throughout the day, like if you turn on CNN or MSNBC or Fox, excuse me, I think I just had a little facial seizure. Anyways, if you turn on news during the day, you'll notice that a lot of it is just cycling through. It's like they choose maybe 10 news stories and they just play it throughout the day. So like if you watch TV, whatever time of the day, you're seeing the same news. Well, a lot of news about protests and laws and just Twitter fights, I don't know, that's not making mainstream media. So here I am, bringing you sometimes funny, always informative news that you may have missed while watching the mainstream cable news. So I only have about 4 stories here for you, but I don't know if anyone heard, but a couple days ago, the Seattle mayor put a 30-day ban on the use of tear gas. We already heard my comments earlier about tear gas, but the mayor issued a ban on tear gas. Not even 24 hours later, Seattle PD used tear gas on protesters. Was there any consequence? You can take a guess at that. In Orlando, a bunch of protesters, well, I guess a bunch is a lot. A couple of protesters snapped a picture of like this canvas thing, I don't know, it was like a big square on the back of like a truck, and posted it to Twitter. And people were like, what's that? Like, protesters were just walking around it, like it seemed really weird. It was like one of those, almost looked like a projection screen or something, like a screen, black border on the back of a pickup truck. Nobody thought anything of it. Well, this is a sound like booster and can knock out your eardrums. So if you're a protester and you see one of these, bring earplugs to a protest, but also get away from that as fast as you can, because nobody wants to get their eardrums destroyed for peacefully protesting. So just arm yourselves with knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I have to say. the Buffalo officers that knocked over this 70-year-old man, I'm sure we're all familiar with the story now. A 70-year-old man, it is unclear if he was antagonizing the protester or the police officers, whatever. Anyways, he was in front of, line of police officers. Well, he was shoved to the ground and hit his head. Thankfully, the man is okay. I believe he's pressing charges. And all 57 of the officers resigned. That was the big story. Oh, 57 officers resigned. People were cheering. Everyone was happy. Well, turns out the real story is they resigned, yes, from that specific department. So I think that's the emergency response team. They just resigned from that team. They are still all allowed to be police officers. They pushed a 70-year-old man down and didn't try to help him. And they are still able to be police officers. So this is what I mean when we say arm ourselves with knowledge. That story may have made it to cable news. I think it did. I've heard a lot about it lately. But the real story is that, the resigning was from that specific department. They've gotten no punishment from the actual, Buffalo Police Department. They're still officers. They're not suspended or anything. So I think maybe the guy that pushed the man might have been suspended for a couple days. Or fired? Should have done a little more research on the story. But you get the point. So I just want everyone, if you hear a headline, look deeper into it, okay? That's just my piece there. The last piece of news you may have missed while watching mainstream media is recently on Twitter, J.K. Rowling was reinvigorized by all the protesting. Reinvigorated? Yes. Re-energized, reinvigorated. That's private school education for you folks. Didn't do me much good. Anyways, J.K. Rowling has come out and said that she just doesn't understand the trans fight. She says she supports trans people, but somehow she doesn't know the difference between sex and gender, and she doesn't understand how without sex we can't characterize our experiences and blah blah blah. She's referring to gender, ladies and gentlemen. She doesn't know the difference between sex and gender. However, J.K. Rowling has said a lot of really, really, really just offensive things to the trans community. Just do your research, ladies and gentlemen. Do your research and reevaluate the people you're supporting out here, because so yeah, that is the end of my segment, news you may have missed while watching mainstream media. So lastly, I'd like to end with a couple things. I'd like to talk about defund the police for a second, just a quick second. So what defunding the police means, because I know there's a lot of confusion about this. Defunding the police means stop defunding things that the community needs. So much funding, I heard the statistic the other day, about a third of cities, major cities' funding goes to the police department. When people are saying defund the police, that doesn't mean $0.00 will go to the police department. I just want to make that very clear. It means instead of a whole third of a city's budget going to the police department, that money can go into other things that improve the community and in turn will decrease crime and make living conditions better for people. Because crime comes out of desperation. The reason why there's more crime in poor neighborhoods rather than the rich neighborhoods is because, things like stealing and stuff don't happen as much as in rich neighborhoods because everyone there can afford things. But there's also a bigger police presence in the poorer neighborhoods. Maybe instead of doing so much proactive policing, we'll do a little more retroactive police, responsive. I think it's called responsive policing, where if someone calls, the police go and answer, but instead of putting so much funding towards having police patrol on neighborhoods looking for crimes and looking to harass people, we put more money into prison reform and community programs like rehabilitation and anti-drug campaigns and better housing, more affordable housing, better grocery stores in poor neighborhoods. Like, this is better education. Oh my goodness, let's stop defunding education, America. Please, let's stop defunding education. So that's what defund the police means, okay? It's looking at our budget and reallocating those funds to things the community actually needs. Not saying if the community doesn't need some sort of law enforcement, some sort of police presence, but like, we need to fund other things way more. Like, education is so important, and every time there's an election, education is defunded more and more. I know North Carolina alone, every single election, there is a bill on. There's always two bills on the ballot. There's a bill that there's always a bill that's something very North Carolina. It's like either going to be like moonshine or driving rules or something. There's always that kind of bill. And there's always a bill that pertains to education. Most of the time, it's, a funding thing. Most of the time, it's good. It never gets passed. People don't vote, don't know what it does, so they don't vote for it. Or the bill is, on the other case, defunding education. And that might get passed because it's named something like for teachers or, education bill, and people just vote for it because they're like, wow, we should fund education. More times than not, you're defunding education. So I just want everyone to remember that we need to stop defunding education and, put some kind of money towards our future. So I'd like to end this by saying namaste, everyone. Stay well. Keep posting. Keep fighting the good fight. And remember to hug someone today. Maybe an air hug, because we still are social distancing. But love you all. And hopefully this video goes up today, maybe tomorrow. But see you next time. Begging you!